Kembo, the CEO for Esri South Africa. Well, as it, well, it's also said I wear many hats. Yes, indeed. So I love the fact that we are here talking with you, the next generation, or actually the current generation of our GIS users, geospatial practitioners. And as Biko was actually saying, things have actually, GIS and the technology of geography is actually making greater impacts to everything else that we are doing in the world. And you think about it and you realize that a lot of things are happening in our world. And we see many things. And there's a very great need across the globe. We are not talking about energy, renewable energy. We are not talking about security. We are not talking about climate change. We are talking about also other environmental impacts, economic development, and many other things. These are actually needs that cuts across, be it in science and technology, be it in business, and many other areas. And you realize that people sit down, people think about these issues, but one thing cuts across. That is the location, the science of where that we are talking about, that all these things have one basic or common denominator, that they all are happening somewhere. And they are also interrelated in one way or the other, in that it's not that where we have a disaster, we do not have pollution or we do not have conflict. They're all happening in the same place, the same geography. And so you think about what is really, how really do we deal with them? And you realize that the location technology, GIS, really comes in handy over here. And so GIS here, Geographic Information System, is actually helping us to organize the geographic knowledge that we have. You bring the knowledge and your domain expert from environment, pollution, disaster, infrastructure development, and many others, and you all bring them together into GIS. When you bring them together into GIS, then you start developing things like the data model to represent these things, the different analytic models, depending on the workflow, the output that you need. We also map and visualize all these things. And at the end of the day, we also can tell different stories about them and also do several reports also about the same, of course, all processed through a common workflow that help us to arrive at the same answer that we are all looking for. And so you realize that all these are actually building blocks for creating what we are calling a digital twin. And digital twin is a very great concept over here, that it's where you bring a replica of our world into a digital environment. And you could see them one-on-one, that when you're talking about this burst pipe over here, or solid waste issues over here, or infrastructure, or urban sprawl, we actually see on a digital platform what exactly happens on the ground. And so it's a digital twin that represents our world. And so GIS present that, gives that capability, and also help us to have that platform for human action. Because at the end of the day, we have to take some action and we have to do something. It is our responsibility. No one will come from any other planet, if at all there are people in other planets, to do or to provide solution to our planet. And so when you think about GIS, then we call it a geospatial infrastructure. And this is an infrastructure that cuts across everything else, giving us a system for managing our data, a system for also doing our analytics, and also a system for collaboration. We call them a system for geo everything. That is, we share our data through the different apps, we do our analytics, and at the end of the day, we also share our geographic knowledge at scale. At the end of the day, when we work with the system, then we connect and integrate also everything and anything, because we do not work in isolation. And the world also, all the processes on the earth also do not work in isolation. They're all interconnected, and issues that we deal with in the world, they're all interconnected and interrelated, in that when you're talking about pollution, you'll not stop talking about pollution. You'll not talk about pollution without talking about other factors of pollution. Is it human population? Is it our manufacturing? Is it every other thing that we're talking about? When you're talking about urban sprawl, you're not going to stop talking about infrastructure, the water, the energy, population, and fertility, and many other things. So, so this is actually giving us what we're calling a geo-nervous system of our Earth. And this geo-nervous system helps us to see everything in one perspective and have one common understanding of everything else that we're talking about. And so it's a system for understanding and also a system for collaboration and action. So this is a system that we're actually talking about that integrates everything. It's a smart GIS system that integrates everything, connecting people, processes, things, data, and everything around it, about them. And so at the end of the day, we're actually improving efficiency, collaboration, and communication amongst ourselves in our quest to get solutions for our world. And so you look at the system of records where we have all our data sets, the system of engagement where we interact with one another, and also different insights that we see over here. And at the end of the day, we are all aware, alert, and responsive to everything else that happens around us. And so I wanted to take this opportunity actually to tell you, and I know you know, maybe remind you that the geospatial infrastructure is actually at the core of our quest to look for solutions of issues that we are actually dealing with in our world, issues that are affecting our world, and right from understanding our world. Esri had several projects and programs with you, the students and the academia. One, for over a long time, we've had the 100 University program, African University program, that I'm glad I've had Professor Nyere is in the room, I've had Dr. Nasho Nadero is in the room, and many others whom I've not had. I've also had this Moses Thiomo is also there, one of our key pillars now based in the US. Congrats, Moses, for everything you're doing. And so some of our universities that I've mentioned, if you do not know the people I've mentioned, Professor Nyeri is from Kenyatta University, Nation from Taita Taveta, and others. I know there are other professors and educators in the room. So they have all participating and benefited from this. And we believe that it will still continue to impact, to bring this geo knowledge and location intelligence in our education, and also in us looking for different solutions. And so this is one of the programs that Esri is having and still running. The second one that I wanted to mention is also the K-12 program. And this is actually now coming from the universities to the basic education, we're talking about primary and high school. And so it actually gives the mapping bundle at no cost at all. And then you use them for instruction and for everything. And so high schools are really highly welcome for this program. And it's interesting that we had the first one, by the way, St. Nicholas, I think so. It's called St. Nicholas, somewhere in Nairobi here, who are actually the first high school or basic education facility to take advantage of this. And that's really great. Thirdly, we have the Esri Young Scholar Award that was launched in the year 2012. And this is actually a prestigious award that recognizes the young researchers who are applying the creativity and innovation in GIS in their university work and also in research. As I mentioned, one of our speakers, Moses Thiomo, was actually the first beneficiary of this prestigious award from the region that is in Kenya. and he'll tell you more of his stories. And so this is also another thing that we love and we promote, that you take advantage of. In the challenge that you'll be having. We have the resources from the Esri main webpage for education, be it for schools, for high school, and everything else. You could get it through that site, and you'll have all these resources. I also want to mention one very interesting site that brings all very many resources for everybody, the 6 different audiences here. The new users to GIS, the GIS professional, the data scientists, the students, the teachers, and also the professors, the different resources that are here, and the URL I've just put down there, that you could get and learn how to use GIS in different applications. Well, it's also presented in a different way based on your application area. Be it you just want to do mapping, field operation, your spatial analysis and data science, imagery and remote sensing, real-time visualization, and also 3D visualization. So all these resources are there for you. And I want to say that I wish you the very best as you start this session, and also as you get into the challenge. And just note that that one common knowledge domain that cuts across all and help us to really see our world better, understand it, and make a decision about it is that we are calling GIS, or Geospatial Infrastructure, that we are talking about. They all share location, and location is that common denominator for everything that we're dealing with in our world. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for this session. I wish you the very best. I was just to give an opening address. Unfortunately, I talked a lot, the professor's behaviors. Yeah. So apologies for that, and back to you, Biko.
Thank you, Clifford. But before I let you go, I think as someone who's mentored a lot of people, and I think in your opening remarks, you've alluded to that, and someone who's inspired a lot of people in their GIS journey, I'd like you to introduce another ambassador who has done this and has even inspired our first recipient of the Esri Young Scholar Award. So kindly, I'd like for you to invite Professor Nyore to just say something to the room for a minute, and I'll introduce.
Great. I mean,
okay, yeah, I'm around.
Prof, welcome. Professor Nyore is actually, I'm not sure the right term to use without diluting who he is, but is that great pillar of GIS in the country and also in academia. I've seen the work that he's doing with the Kenyatta University, where he is, first of all, championing use of GIS, and you see the technology do have a curve, yeah, the adoption curve, and Professor Nyore falls in the curve of the early adopters, or the innovators actually, because when the 100 University program came, he was like, let's get it, and they actually did it. And KU now, as you speak about GIS and KU, you're actually talking about a great university that is actually applying and impacting students and also research and the nation with the use and application of GIS, and that's really great. So Professor Nyore is also one of the Esri ambassadors in the country and also in the region. So he's a great guy that we like. And I just want to, I know I've not completed everything that I would say about Professor Nyore, but Prof, welcome and tell us more. I'm glad that you are here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just trying to put on my camera and the host. Oh, okay.
There you go.
The camera will come on, I guess, at this point.
It is actually on. We can see you very well.
It's on, eh? You can see me. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I think I need no introduction, but one of the things that I wanted to mention today, just the last 1 month or so.
So, Prof, you want to tilt your laptop slightly so that we see your face very well. And if you're and if you're not in a crowded area, we'll appreciate without the mask. If at all you're in a safe place. Thanks, and proceed.
You need to wear a mask all the time. That's what you don't know.
It's very important.
It's very, at least at my age.
Yes. Okay,
but I wanted to mention that this last 1 month, I was out there in Tarakaniti County, the lower part of Tarakaniti County in Tarakan North sub-county, where I saw a real problem related to how people are using the land. And this is, you can't believe it, but this country still practices what we call cut, burn, plant, and shift. If you know those terminologies, you cut a forest, you burn, then you plant, and then when the land is no longer useful for you, you move to another place. That is the why the shift thing comes in. And before just the 2-3 seasons are over, actually the land then changes into a desiccated environment or a desert-like environment because it doesn't have any vegetation cover. And then I realized the role and the responsibility of us, especially you students who are on board, to really understand the connectivity in the things that we do. So that even as you are benefiting from the land and the mining and or using the land resources or environmental resources, we need to appreciate and understand the meaning of that use and the impact that use will have perhaps for a very long time to come, and therefore reduce on environmental sustainability. And now that we are going to be talking about sustainability for a while. And I just want to encourage each one of us that whatever we do, wherever we do it, it has a meaning and it has an implication. And we have a responsibility then to cause our administrators and or government agencies to understand and appreciate what is happening and why it is happening. I know we are going through a drought season, and I was just wondering the other day that if we use spatial knowledge, can we just demonstrate to the country that each year we are actually raising money, and this money is not having any significant value in terms of alleviating the problems of the people, nor improving infrastructure, because we need to demonstrate whether some of these resources have added value other than just direct response in terms of alleviating the problems of drought. And I see an environment of fertile research everywhere. And it's up to those of us who are in the platform and even those who are not in the platform to engage and think through what is the meaning of everything that we do, and how is one thing you do in one place affects another thing in another place. And even when you are trying to solve the problem, how even that solution itself can become a problem in the process. I just wanted to mention that, and thank you for inviting me into the meeting. Yeah. I see a number of people I personally invited into the meeting, and I really appreciate. I know Moses Thiongo is my other son. I don't know how many sons I have, but he's one of them, and I'll be glad to just hear what he's going to say. And also National Dera. I don't know that he's back in the country, or he's still out there, and we might just lose him. This guy, we might just lose him out there. National, are you around or you are out there still?
I'm around, and I should meet you.
Yeah.
Okay. We need a physical meeting, and we are double masks. I know you come from a country where the virus was real. Thank you. That's all I can say in terms of just letting us know. And I use this opportunity to also let you know that GIS Day 17th of November is there. We will use this online platform, and maybe we can work this together with Esri to see how we can reach maybe the whole country in terms of just having a GIS Day on the platform and giving windows to every university to present whatever they have, so that we see how the GIS terrain is being mapped around the country. And I must say also, I met a fantastic gentleman in Tharaka University. There's a new university coming up called Tharaka, and he's an environmental ecologist, and he just told me that he needed GIS like yesterday, and he does not know how to learn or use it, and he just wants me to teach him and use it. But I'm telling him I'm an old man. I need young men to go and teach him in Tharaka University. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prof. And I think you've brought out exactly why this challenge that we are organizing is important. There are so many challenges that we need young minds to really tackle right now. And you mentioned one of your mentors and former students, Moses Thiongo. I believe he's in the room. So Moses, I think we'll give you this chance to really tell us about your journey. I know you've gone on to do amazing things. I met you when you were just an intern at Esri, but I think this is your chance now to also inspire some of the young people in the room who are also looking at GIS as a future career path, and also use it to solve some of the problems that they see around their different environments. So Moses, I think I'll take this chance to give you a few minutes to present to us.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Moses.
All right, so thank you very much for the opportunity to just give a presentation, and I was given as a short notice, so I didn't even script anything, but I was briefed on what I was going to just talk about. But yeah, I'm glad I made it to this time. It's actually almost 3 a.m. here, but I have already, taken my fair share of my sleep. I already did it. So thank you very much to everyone who has made it to this meeting. So as you have heard, I was the first beneficiary of Esri's Esri Young Scholar Award, which made me to first step in the United States back in 2018, around June or July, around there. Actually, it was July. And I mean, such didn't just come by, by just sitting and waiting for it to be presented to you. So, and I know most of the students here will agree, those who have had a taste of it. So you just don't get things coming your way. And just as a talk to tell you how I managed to get that. So it didn't just start, or it didn't just happen. And I remember back then I had, the opportunity to have great mentors, and Professor is one of them, the greatest mentor. And I guess he can attest to this. I started, making him my friend the very first time I joined the university, when he taught us the unit on GIS. So I felt passionate with GIS. I didn't know what it was all about, but I felt like this is the thing that I really wanted. And I made him my friend, and that's slowly it got infused into my system, and I went running with it. And to cut the long story short, I when it came to the time we were supposed to choose projects for our undergraduate degree, I did do a project on mapping of a pest which was affecting crops, and that was for armyworm. So it was in the line of agriculture. And with the minimal skills that I had, I was able to finish the project. And that is the project that was sponsored to be presented during the Esri's user conference in 2018. And back then, that's where I met great people. And by great people, I mean every people from of Esri, that is Jack Dinchamond. And that was the genesis of my story. I mean, it was a section, it was a chapter of my genesis of my story. But one thing that I would like to highlight is that you have to, when you are in this field, you have to, shoot yourself outside there. So one thing that has helped me to be recognized, if I can use that term, in this environment by many people, and I will mention them in a few moments from now, is doing stuff, and that is GIS stuff, and sharing them out there. I guess there's one thing that I've done, where in this field is going out and sharing what I do. I mean, it doesn't really matter how complicated or how simple it is, but it drives you to even doing great things. So I've utilized my social media, and by social media I just mean Twitter and LinkedIn. So I would do stuff like cartography, art, do some analysis, and then I would share them out. And I didn't even know who was watching it. So when I completed, or I graduated from Kenyatta University, that's when, the same time, that's when I was supposed to join my master's, because when I came to the United States the first time, I got a chance to speak with Jack, and he gave me the scholarship to come back and study at the University of Netherlands. And I know Clifford is an alma mater of the same university. It's a great university, and many other people who might be in the audience. So of the people that I met, most of them knew me by the fact that I was sharing my stuff online. So, and that's the thing that I usually continue, and I challenge every student who is here. There are many GIS challenges, GIS and Python. If you're into Python, there are those challenges that usually come up. Like there is one which is coming up for 30 days of MApchallenge. I know some of us might have seen it in the past, but these are the events that I would encourage some of us who are into cartography, and not only cartography. You can, bring in your Python skills, your data science skills to just showcase what you can do. And you never know who is watching that. So that's what I would like you to watch out for. And that's what I did. So, and that one has made me to get opportunities to do presentations in big conferences like the national, like the North American Cartographic Information Society. I mean, and that's usually broadens your reach for the people that you get to interact with. And that has made me to, I don't want to use the name recognized, but let me use it for now. And people do give respect to who you do. And if there is something that they think you can do, they will actually reach out, and that puts you out there, your profile out there. So that's one thing. Don't keep it to yourself, just share it out to the people. Otherwise, if you keep it to yourself, no one will recognize what you are doing. So that's the thing that I would encourage each and every one of us to do, especially the students. And yeah, actually, that's pretty much that I would like to say. So, and utilize your resources, actually, the professors, because I guess if I didn't utilize Professor Onyore and most of other people who are in that line, I know some of us know Alex Sige, who is just around here. Just utilize those resources that are at your disposal. And I am pretty much sure that, things shall be in line with what you want or what you are going out for. So yeah, and if any one of you might want to interact on a more, deeper detail, you can always find me out there in LinkedIn or Twitter. And I also enjoy doing some of the things. Okay, I didn't mention to you that after graduating, I work with Esri as a technical support analyst for now, and I support the geoprocessing tools ArcGIS Pro and ArcMap. So that's pretty much what I do most of the time. 5 days in a week and even in weekends, but I reserve weekends for my work in line with what I love. So, and once I find challenging situations that I've been able to help customers with, I usually document that in my YouTube channel. Well, I don't do a lot there, just and I don't encourage anyone to go out there looking for what I do. So, but yeah, some of us who are here might know what they usually do. Some Python projects, data analysis, and so on and so forth. But yeah, that's pretty much what I usually do. And just as I mentioned, if you have any question, you can reach out to me. I usually go by Musa Diomo, and that's what everyone knows me here. Not actually Moses, but yeah, feel free to reach out and I'll be able to, respond back to you. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Musa. I like your new name, sticking to your African roots, I think. So you said they can reach you on what? What's your email or handle on Twitter and LinkedIn? I know today you're gonna get a lot of followers based on this. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I usually go on YouTube. It's the Calabash Mosaics, the Calabash with a K, and my email is Moses T as in for Thomas, kamau@gmail.com, and then Twitter is Musa Diomo.
Okay, thank you. And maybe just one last question, Musa, because we haven't spoken a while, but in the time you've worked at Esri, what has been the most exciting thing you found within the GIS career, or when you decided to choose this GIS career? Because now you're out in the real world, responding to real problems. So what is it that probably you didn't expect and you've found that is exciting? And what does your future look like now that you're at Esri?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, really a lot of amazing things because I interact one-on-one with the engineers who are crafting the softwares on the back end. So, you really get to learn a lot. So, and every answer is at your disposal. It's a great thing working with people who are really talented in a lot of things. So, it's my option to decide to learn and sail with them in the same ship, or decide to be left behind. But there is a pool of different people with different capabilities, which is a great thing to tap into.
I was muted. Yeah, I'm saying Professor Nyware also says that the keyword from what you've told us today is to share what you have, and to brand yourself, right? What advice can you give to people in the room around how to really brand themselves and why it's really important, especially when they choose a GIS career?
Yeah, so I would say, and that's true. So one of my mentors is Professor Nyware, actually, and one other is John Nelson. I know some of us know John Nelson, and I have the privilege to interact with him one-on-one on a private basis. We have done some publication. I remember one day he requested me to write a story about myself and my emergence into GIS. And I guess if you just search my name in full, Moses Kamau, the emergence into cartography, you can take a look at the story. So it's not coincidental, but you will see. Just be intentional on what you want to do, and just don't do it for the sake of doing it. So have the intention of why you are doing it, and actually you will attract the right people who want to see it, because I didn't reach out to them personally asking this or that, but they actually have reached out to me.
Wow, Moses, we are really proud of you as your Esri Eastern African family, and I wish you well, in all that you do. Keep flying the Kenyan flag high, and I think we'll be inviting you back on GIS Day to see the winner of this challenge. things coming up. As you can see on the chat, we have a gift for the most active. Please take advantage of Musa's advice, right? We want to see you guys out there tweeting, taking screenshots, talking about this challenge, so that we can start noticing you wherever you're from. The hashtag is MApchallenge. Hashtag is also SDGs. And please tag us on all the platforms that you're tweeting, or your LinkedIn or Instagram even. We'll be there to retweet you and repost you. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have our keynote address for today from one of our brand ambassadors. You can call him the GIS ambassador for Kenya, Nashon Adero. Nashon, if you're in the room, you can proceed to unmute and also turn on your video. So Nashon is a lecturer at Taveta University, and he's a champion for GIS. He's among some of the people who've really won a lot of accolades around the world, based on his work in GIS, and he's built a brand as a geospatial and systems modeling expert, and is a great mentor for the youth, and we really see him as a key person in our goal to make sure the science of where is answering some of the most pressing problems that our world is facing. So Nashon, kindly join us. And I'll let you take.
Thank you for welcoming me, and I'll go straight to my presentation. If you can grant me screen sharing rights,
okay,
then I can proceed.
Yeah.
Please let me know once you can see the.
Yeah, we can see it, and you can proceed to play in presentation mode. Yeah, great.
It is in the presentation mode, I believe, on your side as well.
Yeah, it is.
So thank you for today, and it gives me great pleasure to make this presentation. You invited me to make a presentation on realizing the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, and I'm going to give the GIS perspective. I'm Nashon Adero, a lecturer at Taveta University, lecturing GIS, engineering surveying and mining surveying. And I would like to challenge all of us here to not think outside the box, but as some people put it across even more effectively, thinking without the box. So when we are talking about the SDGs, we are basically talking about applying systems thinking, looking at the whole world as a system, the app as a system. What one does affects another, and it is an interconnected chain. That is what Professor Nyere told us at the beginning when he was making his remarks. So I would like us to look at the SDGs as principles that are based on systems thinking. And if we are to capture the scale, the big picture, then there's no way GIS can be left out of the transformation equation. So thinking of the SDGs, think of three key principles. We know this principle called leaving no one behind. And this is what almost everyone is talking about. Let's not forget two other fundamental principles underpinning the SDGs. And the other one is multi-stakeholder partnerships. So when we are talking of partnerships, we need visualization. Hence, we need shared visual evidence using visual maps. And this is where GIS comes in very effectively. Talking of stakeholder engagement in Kenya, when we have political processes, how are we going to involve the Wanjiku, Atieno, and Mora effectively? We need multi-stakeholder partnerships, but they work better when we have mapped, actionable location-based intelligence, and better still shared using visual maps that anyone can relate to. Then we also have the principle of interconnectedness and interdependence. And GIS, as rightly defined, is the nervous system that brings together all these subcomponents so that we can abstract, perceive, organize, interpret, and anticipate events across space over time. So this is meant to give you a well-informed and fundamental introduction why we are saying we must have a GIS perspective when we are talking of realizing the SDGs. Without the GIS perspective in this era, we cannot manage it. So if we are to empower inclusive and sustainable transformation, then GIS technology must be our nervous system and a critical part of the transformation equation. So I come from Taita Taveta University, and we are talking GIS. Look at where we are. We are in Taita Taveta County, a vast county measuring about 17,000 square kilometers. And Taita Taveta University is located here, not far from Voi town, about 8 kilometers from Voi town. And I share this map just to show you how the practice of GIS technology has empowered our students at Taita Taveta University. They can make a map like this, a map that is communicating to you with all the cartographic standards that you need to see in any modern map. So at Taita Taveta University, through the support of Esri Eastern Africa, I conducted a synthesis of the training needs as far as GIS is concerned. And you can see that we still have training needs from low to very high training needs, differentiated among undergraduates, MSc students, academic staff, and the local community. And I'm happy to say that Esri Eastern Africa, through educational support with GIS education licenses, has been critical to helping us improve on this transformation map. You can see under this legend various categories from low training need to extreme training need. And I believe Clifford, being the CEO of Esri, is now taking notes on where we really need to advance our interaction, engagement, and transform outcomes to achieve sustainable development goals, beginning with the local area where we are as a university, addressing the needs within the county, and then the national needs and global needs. So I want you to look at that photograph, and we have talked of organizing space, that is spatial development. We have talked about environmental responsibility. Now look at that city. You can guess where it is. Of course, it is not in Kenya, but look at the way the landscape has been preserved. No one is saying, let's do away with that hill because it is blocking direct view of the sun. No one is saying, let's clear the vegetation there and develop that area. So if you look at the way this space is organized, and I took this photograph at 7 a.m. in the morning, look at the road. The road is clear because of proper planning to ensure mobility and connectivity. And the environment is green, you like it. This is Hong Kong. There's no way of achieving this without having a GIS-based master plan. And we are going to see other examples from across the world that buttress the point that GIS is the nervous system for achieving the sustainable development goals. So some background highlights, we are talking about sustainability. I'm happy to mention that from my research, we can trace sustainability as an old concept all the way back to the 18th century in the city of Freiburg. And this is where I have been for the last 3 to 4 years for my studies. It is called, famously referred to as the Silver City. It has a history of mining silver. And from there, we can trace the history of sustainability through sustainable forestry. Now, there are some key points that we need to internalize. One is that we need scale, location, trends, and patterns when we are going to monitor progress on the SDGs. And talking of scale, location, trends, and patterns, you will agree with me that the application of GIS technology and GIS as a concept comes in very strongly. So we are all one with the rest of nature. We live in an interconnected world. And this is a famous saying in systems thinking that dividing an elephant in half doesn't produce 2 small elephants. Instead, you end up with a messy, dead elephant. So are we trying to use the linear thinking way of dividing a challenge into smaller parts with a vain attempt of trying to understand the whole. We must work from the whole to the part. And GIS gives us this scale, advantage of scale of visualizing the big picture. So Professor Nywele also talked about unintended consequences. This statement, this saying, is one of those false beliefs that lead to unintended consequences. So we need location-based intelligence, which is at the heart of today's digital revolution. And I qualify today's digital revolution as data-driven digital revolution, and specifically geodata-driven digital revolution. If you look at the big data component that is driving the data volumes in today's world, a key component of that is geodata. And this is the data we need for GIS analysis. Look at the 17 SDGs summarized as goals, as means, from number 1 all the way to number 17. And we are going to see another synthesis that is trying to reveal that all these 17 SDGs have a lot to benefit from having the GIS perspective, thinking in terms of scale and location-based intelligence, connectivity of components, and seeing the big picture, and ensuring that we can share actionable visual evidence. So we have been talking about the stages of industrial revolution, and we are now saying that the world is approaching the stage of the 4th industrial revolution. And you see a big role that data must play. And as I've said before, this big data has its large share in geodata, hence GIS. So another example here is the city of Helsinki. Look at that net zero emissions public library in Helsinki. And this is addressing SDG number 7. If you are talking of affordable and clean energy, if you are talking of reducing emissions, even SDG 11, when we're talking of infrastructure, innovation and industrialization. Now this net zero emissions public library in Helsinki is an inspiring example of how we can organize space. And look at the average response to disasters in Helsinki. Just as late as October 2019, when our GIS students from Tata University were taken to Helsinki to tour how Finland is applying GIS technology in the city of Helsinki, and how the University of Helsinki has been a critical multiplier of GIS knowledge and application, we realized that they have reduced average response time to disasters in Helsinki to only 6 minutes. That is the average. And when we asked them how they achieved it, we were impressed to learn that having a GIS-based master plan, GIS-based national addressing system, and using data as a strategic asset for decision support, they have been able to achieve all this. So under the GIS system, they emphasize the need to have quality data and operational efficiencies, interoperability, and all the principles of sound data management that is summarized as FAIR data principle, that is findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. As we proceed, look at the challenge the world is facing, and I'm showing this demographic pattern to challenge the African youth. Look at where Africa is in terms of population. Going by region, so the continent, you see we are at number 2, 17% of the global population, and mainly a young population. So the future of Africa and any transformation we are aiming at must be youth-driven. And if you are saying that GIS is key to this change, and GIS is key to realizing the SDGs, then it goes without saying that the youth must be well equipped in GIS technology, applying GIS because it has multidisciplinary applications, it supports transdisciplinary research. No one is left out, whether you are a student of agriculture, education, engineering, geography, or medicine. GIS has a key role to play, and I'll show some examples that are key in the health sector. So let's proceed, look at this city in Africa, that is Egypt, and ask me what you think of spatial development. What are the challenges? We have talked of the demographic pattern, the high population growth, especially the young people in Africa, and look at that space, that is the night sky, and the light is giving you a clear pattern from the air. You can see a clear pattern of how development is proceeding in this city, Cairo. Now, you can ask yourself, as youth, how can you use GIS technology to ensure better organized spatial development? And this kind of challenge is becoming real in our cities in Africa, Nairobi being one of them. Now, looking at this, now this is a familiar picture here in Nairobi, and these are familiar buildings in Nairobi. We are talking of generational succession. I know the majority we are speaking to can be classified now under Generation Z, and even some under Generation Alpha. They have been influenced differently by the kind of era they are living in. So if we are talking of the digital millennials, and we are talking of the Generation Z, the netizens, they are more active as netizens than actual physical citizens. They believe in global citizenship. And Yongo just talked to us here about how GIS expanded the space for him to be a global citizen. He's now in the US, and he can link that to GIS because GIS is giving you that borderless passport for relevance. So I challenge all of us here to think of quality education, which is SDG number 4, and how GIS is a key part of ensuring that quality education. And I always tell my students that quality education is not complete without 4 E's. There's the E of education itself. Then we have the E of exposure. We need international exposure, intercultural awareness. And we also need the E of empathy. And we need the E of experience. So you have to practice to acquire that experience. We have been talking of 3 main sectors in society. So we cannot achieve the SDGs without thinking of participation, active participation from these 3 sectors, the civil society, the public sector, and the private sector. And when we are talking of democratization of decision-making resources, geodata being key, a key part of that pool for shared understanding and governance, we have come up with 5 P's underpinning the SDGs. So we talk of people, planet, prosperity, peace, and partnerships. But I'm going to challenge us to think of more than these 5 P's. I argue that we have 7 P's, and we are going to see how the 7 P's come about and how GIS is also key to realizing these 7 P's. So in my 7 P's, which I consolidated over the years 2017 to 2020 from my participation in international conferences across the globe, I am arguing, based on this informed evidence, that we need the P of place as well, and the P of parameters and models. If you look at place, spatial mapping for location-based intelligence, if you look at parameters, GIS-driven models, econometric models for decision-making, where we can attach the value of location to statistics and come up with location-based interventions, then we can say we are completing the picture. So I'm saying we need the 7 P's, and you can see these other 7 P's, these 2 other P's, the place, parameters, and models are really bringing to the picture the fundamental. Geography and health, or what Esri has been talking of geomedicine. Look at SDG number 3, good health and the well-being. We have talked of geomedicine, geography and health. Where you live determines the air you breathe, the water you drink, and hence it determines your health. Even the social circles, the social capital you gather over time. Looking at research on cholera, you cannot divorce that from using maps effectively, because that is what Dr. John Snow used to discover the cause of cholera. And then biogeography. This German explorer called Alexander von Humboldt used maps to study abstract aspects such as climate, change in climate. And you can see there's an intersection between biology and geography. Because of this geography, we need GIS to understand that geography, to parameterize the variables and come up with decision support models that can narrow the margin of uncertainty when we are talking of practice, policy, and planning. So look at this example in the health sector, again, SDG 3. And I would like you to concentrate more on these loops. If we are to ensure health service delivery, quality of health service delivery, then we need this disruptor here, digitalization and integrated platform services, and better still, integrated into GIS platforms. Then if you look at this loop, by having this critical disruptor, we are able to increase the doctor to patient availability ratio, because if you are talking of telemedicine, we need a digital system, but better still, if we have the location-based, the pinpointed location-based guidance on where the patients are so that you can deliver the drugs, medicine, it is going to increase this doctor to patient availability, which is better than just going for the mere ratios, doctor to patient ratio, because the ratio could be good, but the availability is limited by this disruptor, which is within a digital geospatial number system. So more of this we can talk of in the class of dynamic modeling, but to simplify it, we are saying this is a positive reinforcing loop because of digitalization and GIS. Again, on this side, we have a balancing loop because through digitalization, you could limit the hiring of more doctors, because you can't keep hiring doctors all the time, because the economy is also limited in terms of the absorption capacity. But you need this disruptor to increase this doctor to patient availability. Of course, the same can also go for teacher to student availability. And now these are some of the summary. This slide will be shared with you so that you can read more on how this can take place, the interconnected through GIS system. Again, when we are talking of sustainable ecotourism, we also need to improve tourism, a key revenue generator for our economies. You can see the SDGs 8 and SDG 15 also benefiting from GIS-based master plans. Talking of the various categories of intelligence, again, we read this for yourself when it is shared and see how GIS is a critical part of the equation. And talking about the future of work, GIS is going to expand the space for you to be more effective and more impactful when we are talking of realizing sustainable development. And when we are talking of globalization and transferable skills, move from the left to the right. And if you are to move from the left to the right on this slide, then there is no saying that you can do away with digital fluency, data fluency, and you can see all these are key when we are talking of GIS education. So I saw there was a raised hand. Maybe there is some announcement.
Yes, thank you, Nashon. It's just because in the interest of time, we need to be cognizant. I believe you have a few more.
You are breaking up.
Left. I'm saying you have a few more slides left.
Yeah, just 2 minutes and I'll be through. 2 minutes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm concluding by saying this is a recent survey of youth in Kenya aged 18 to 35. And you can see the survey captured both male and female fairly, almost 50-50. And what I would like to say about this is that when I administered questions on digital literacy, I was impressed that the highest score, this 82%, came from someone who is very active in GIS. And this is impressive because it means that if you can be more serious with GIS, then your digital literacy can be enhanced to the level of saying you have digital fluency. And also to mention that this highest scorer came from Esri Eastern Africa. I believe Esri will be very happy to hear that. And you can see the age bracket, mainly the youth were interviewed. And then at Taveta University, this is how GIS has also helped us to study the problem of mining and environment. When you are talking about environmental sustainability, you can see on this map, through GIS technology, we are able to tell the county government on average how far those mining sites are from the nearest water bodies, around 4 kilometers, and that is key to decision making. Also, the agroecological zones in the county of Taita Taveta. This is a very familiar interface when you are using ArcGIS, for example. You can classify those zones effectively to support policy decisions, for example, agricultural development policy. When we are talking of disease spread, for example, COVID, you can also come up with these heat maps to advise government on local interventions. And when we have figures such as this, you'll agree with me that if we can place them on a map, they become even easier to comprehend and to make decisions. So thank you, and I would like to acknowledge Esri Eastern Africa and that long history of partnership with Taita Taveta University, and Professor Nyere was key to ensuring that at Taita Taveta University we could get the support with Esri educational licenses, site licenses, and that has improved GIS knowledge and awareness within the student, university, and local community. Thank you for this time, and I believe the engagement will be inspiring to many young people who are keen on the GIS perspective as it relates to the sustainable development goals. Thank you.
Wow, Nashon, I believe everyone, wherever they are, giving you a round of applause. Your presentation was very, very insightful, and I believe we've also learned a lot. I like your new concept of the 7 Ps. I hope that paper is published, and the UN can also look at that critically and adopt the parameters. And most important for us, the places. You said places, right? That was the 7th one.
Yeah, place and parameters and models.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. Thank you so much for giving us this time. I know it was short notice, but your presentation has really given us a great context as to why this challenge is important. And I believe some of the participants have also begun to think which of the SDGs are they going to pick as a challenge for them to tackle. And I think that now brings us to the session where we need to now introduce the challenge. I've seen in the chat that people are asking, what is this challenge about? What are Esri Eastern Africa going to be asking us to do? So we would like to move on to the next session, but Nashon, before you go, will you be sharing the presentation? I believe some people are asking for it as well.
Yes, I'll be sharing with you the presentation, and it has the links to the published material, including where the 7 Ps have been published, so that will be well taken care of.
Okay. Thank you. And I know in the presentation also you put your email address. I believe you can also guide some of the students if they have any questions regarding these concepts of systems thinking and its importance in achieving the SDGs.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you, Nashon. We can move on to the next session, which is actually why we are all here. Ladies and gentlemen, I think right now, first things first, we need to tell you, or probably even show you, what are the SDGs. I hope you've been Googling what the SDGs are, but I believe the next short video Thank you. I believe we've gotten a brief snapshot of what the SDGs are about. There are 17 of them, and I'd urge all of you to really, understand each one, because our challenge for the next 4 weeks are going to be around those 17 SDGs and how you as participants of this challenge are going to use GIS and the tools that will provide you to be able to come up with innovative solutions that are going to impact your communities, your environment, like you've seen all the way from Moses and the work he did to Nashon, and even Professor Onyore's experience, that he shared with us as well. We want you to think creatively. And also offer you like insights into how exactly you can win the 250 USD for the winner. We have $150 for the second prize and $100 for the third prize. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite Evelyn Lele. She's a diligent urban planner and GIS professional with experience in the geospatial industry, and she forms working geospatial solutions for clients across Eastern Africa within the government sector. Most importantly, she's passionate about leveraging the power of GIS to support and provide solutions by integrating things like 3D to urban development and planning. And I'm sure some of you are familiar with her because she speaks a lot in seminars and conferences, and she's been mentoring even here at Esri Eastern Africa through our internship program. And I think you can also congratulate her because she recently just graduated with a master's in GIS and a degree in urban planning from the University of Nairobi. So Evelyn, kindly inspire our contestants to take up this challenge and wow us with the solutions they'll be coming up with to address the SDGs.
Thank you so much, Biko. So my name is Evelyn Lele, and this is the bit I know you've been waiting for. So I'm going to take us through the Esri Eastern Africa Map Challenge. Today is actually the launch of the Esri Eastern Africa Map Challenge. So I'm just going to take you through how you're going to participate in this challenge and how you're going to win yourself the $250 US. So I know, and I'm very happy that we have the next generation of leaders in this room today here. That's the students in the different universities and the different colleges. And really, I'm so happy because this is actually the next generation of the next generation of leaders in tech. And even before I just take us through what this challenge is all about, a lot of the previous speakers have actually talked about the power of GIS. And I just want to quote one of the main things that Jack usually says. So Jack is the president of Esri, and Jack Detamont says that the application of GIS is limited only by the imagination of those who apply it. So there are actually unlimited areas of applying GIS. So it can only be limited by your imagination. And even as we launch this challenge today, I'm hoping that we'll actually be very innovative, very creative, and go all out to actually have very innovative solutions for our world. So as already mentioned, this is the first challenge, and Esri Eastern Africa is actually pleased to launch the first challenge of the first challenge that we are calling MApchallenge. And this first challenge is actually focused on the SDGs. So this first challenge is focused on the Sustainable Development Goals. So what we want you to do is actually demonstrate how you can be able to use the power of GIS to be able to solve some of the problems and actually focus on sustainable development around the SDG goals. I know Nahashon has already mentioned and has already taken us through the SDGs. So this is what this challenge will actually be focused on. We'll be sharing this site on the chat and actually having it on our platforms right after this launch. So this first challenge is on the SDGs. We'll be having a series of challenges. So this is just the first one in a series of many that we'll be having. And then important to note are the key dates. So we'll officially launch this challenge today. Then we'll be having a series of technical workshops. So the technical workshops will basically help you better understand how to use the ArcGIS technology, the tools that we have for you to be able to create very impactful solutions. And then the other thing that I need to mention is that Whatever you have done should be submitted by the 5th of November for our judges, for our panel of judges to be able to actually determine the winners. And the winners will be announced on November 17th. That's on GIS Day. So during the GIS Day, also you'll have an opportunity, the winners will have an opportunity to present what they've been working on and the best solutions that we've been working on around the SDGs. So that's what this particular map challenge is all about. And then to also help you as you do this particular challenge, we have a number of resources on our hub sites. These will also be shared on our platforms that you can be able to make use of. So we have a number of resources, right, from how to create a story map. Remember that the final product of the solution that we'll have developed around the SDGs has to be presented in a story map. So you'll actually be able to see some of the resources on how to create your first story map, tips on how to give very interesting stories. You'll be able to make use of these resources. And then you'll also have a lot of the other resources and tools that we have within the platform, such as the ArcGIS platform. For those of us who are interested in development, coding, this is also a very good tool to use. And then we'll also have more information on the SDGs. Remember, this challenge is focused on the Sustainable Development Goals. So we have a lot of information on the Sustainable Development Goals and how to tell your story using the tools that we have within the platform. So those are some of the resources that you will be using. We'll be sharing this link and you can be able to interact and actually see a lot of the things. So I know the most important thing that all of you want to actually hear is, so how do we get registered? How do you get to register to be part of this challenge? So we also have the page, the registration page. So here we have a registration link. And even before we get to the registration link, we have the terms and conditions for you to be able to participate in this particular map challenge or competition. So you need to read through the terms and conditions. And then once you've read through the terms and conditions, you can now come to the registration page. So you'll register here. There will be a form that has various, that will capture various details. Part of the details, we want to ensure that the people actually participating in this challenge are university students. We'll also be interested in knowing which university you are from and the location and all that, and the country. Again, this competition is actually open for students in the Eastern Africa region. That's Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Ethiopia, Djibouti, and Eritrea. So if you're a student at any level, undergraduate, postgraduate, if you're at college, and you want to be part of this challenge is actually open for all students in all our countries within Eastern Africa. So you'll be able to register to enter this competition, and then we'll be able to give you feedback whether your idea is good enough for you to proceed into the competition. So that's what you need to know about this particular competition. And then again, for the rules, we're looking at originality. Please ensure that the work that you'll be presenting in this competition is actually your original work. And you want to see how creative you can actually get. You want to see how creative you can get using GIS to actually solve some of the world's challenges. And for this particular challenge, we are focused on the SDGs. So our panel of judges will be able to review all the submissions that will have been done, and we'll be able to announce the winners during the GIS Day. So we're actually looking forward to your very innovative solutions around the SDGs. And one of the quotes that I really love is that you either innovate or die. So we are really looking forward to those very innovative solutions and ideas on the 17th of November when we'll be announcing the winners. So so that's what you need to know about the competition or the challenge. So I'll hand it over back to Biko for us to officially launch this.
Yeah, thanks, Evelyn. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the rules and the regulations of what is going to be an exciting challenge ahead. I hope you guys are excited. At this point, I'd ask you guys to turn on your videos. And we are about to count down. It's now 1:29. We've perfectly timed it because now is the time where we need to launch this event. I know we're all joining from across the continent. We have seen people all the way from South Africa, Uganda, Addis Ababa. And right now, if you have any questions, feel free to make sure you note them down. But I think we can launch the competition in, give me 1 second. Yeah, possibly you can help me count down between 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy mapping. I couldn't hear the rest of you, but I hope you guys are excited from wherever you are right now. If you have any questions, kindly raise your hand so that we can be able to answer them quickly. And then we'll be able to now let you guys go on and register. Evelyn has shown you the link, but yes, so that you guys can register, we can form the teams if there are teams to be formed. And over the next 4 weeks, Evelyn and I are going to guide you guys through the workshops of how you're going to be using ArcGIS story maps. We'll guide you in understanding how to use some of the developer tools. So if you have any questions, kindly put them in the chat. Evelyn has, but we're really excited for you guys to get to understand our tools and then explore the resources we provided. So Dennis Ekakoro, I believe that's correct. Yes, the winners will be from any Eastern African country. If you read the terms and conditions, we're looking for university students at any level. You can come in as individuals or as a team, but the goal really is to make sure that you are answering a problem that is in line with the Sustainable Development Goals. I think, yes, we stress that it's for university students. So this is a chance for you, whether you're starting out at undergrad or masters, to be able to win some money. Anyone else with a question? Yeah, Tema, I think you can also take advantage from South Africa. Feel free to use these tools and resources to advance your GIS career. As Esri Eastern Africa, we're always happy to support. And we have a lot of resources on our YouTube channel as well that you can look at other events to gain some inspiration along with our website. Joseph, yes, you can also enter as a group. Within the registration, we've limited to 5 students, but I believe you can be able to form a team if you're looking at a big challenge, and then we see how we can guide you through. Yes, in case of any question, Priscilla, on the hub site, we'll be engaging you now that you registered for this launch. We'll continue engaging you throughout these coming weeks. We've planned out some sessions, 2 workshops, I believe. Evelyn, maybe you can talk about the workshops and what will be in.
All right. So we have 2 technical workshops. So the main thing behind the workshop is to just guide the people who will be part of the competition, the students, on how to use the tools and how to actually create very interesting solutions with our tools. So once you have registered and indicated your intention to be part of the competition and your idea has gone through, you'll be free to join the technical workshops. We'll be having a series of technical workshops just to guide you through on how to use our technology to create very innovative solutions around the SDGs. Yes, and more details on that are also available on the hub site. The link on the hub site, I have shared it on the chat. And after this, also that information will be available on our platforms, on our various social media platforms. So you can also look out for more information on the hub site that will be shared on our platforms.
Yeah, thanks, Evelyn. I believe that's clear. Any other question? We'll be sharing the so our hub sites that Evelyn has linked will also host a lot of the resources we'll be showcasing going forward. So consider the hub site as your one-stop shop for everything in the competition, including reaching out to us as well. Any other questions? Dennis, we'll be providing you, if you participate, with your own unique ArcGIS online account. So if you have an expired license, this is your chance to get a license for ArcGIS online. And that will also provide you with the story maps that you'll be able to use to answer the challenge. Priscilla, your hand was up. Did you want to speak, or did you have a question?
Thank you so much. My question is, how will you people get in contact with us? Will you use email? I don't know, like for us to attend these sessions, like will you use our email, or like would you have a WhatsApp group where you send? I don't know, like how will we get in contact with these various workshops that will be taking place? And in case we need help as we are like participating in the challenge, like how can we get in touch with the people?
Great question, Priscilla. So when you register, ensure you provide us with the right contacts, both your email and your phone number, all right? Because we're also using this to get you closer to us, right? So we'll have a WhatsApp group eventually, but right now we'll be mainly contacting you through emails to invite you for the sessions. You'll be receiving the calendar invite for the Zoom workshop. The workshops will be held on Zoom. So after this, all communications will be via the email that you provide us with, so that we keep the communications, clear. So when it comes to also the end of the competition, where you're submitting either your story map or whatever you've created from the challenge, that submission will also be done using that same email you used to register, and the winners will be notified via email and also via phone call when we get to November, the second week of November. So make sure that you register with the correct details, and we'll be sure to keep you into contact. Even when you have problems during the technical workshops, we'll have sessions where we can be able to answer them. Meanwhile, Victor, maybe you can tell us about the most active person on our socials today. We told you guys that we want you to start branding yourselves as GIS ambassadors using the hashtag MApchallenge and hashtag SDGs. I hope you guys have been doing that. Victor has been keeping charge of the social channels, and we want you guys to continue this even after this event, so that you create an online community, where you're able to share with the participants from South Africa, from Ethiopia, in Addis. We also saw requests for universities who want to enter the 100 universities program. Thank you so much, and please feel free to reach out to the emails Margaret has shared in the chat. We really want to build a strong community of users across the continent. So keep it up, keep this energy up, and we really look forward to making this exciting. And all of you here are invited to the GIS Day of the 17th of November. We'll be sharing the details of that, including the venue, which will be online as well. But what the theme will be for this year, and everything else will be shared to everyone who has attended this event. And that day is when we'll be announcing the winner as well. So make sure that you stick with us for the next 4 weeks, because we have lots and lots of exciting things coming up that will be able to really benefit. Another question before we come to a close. We will not hold you back any further. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to forward to working with some of you in the future. You've seen Moses, who was an intern here. I also started off as an intern here at Esri. And we want to grow more GIS professionals across the continent. So happy mapping. I hope you'll be excited for this challenge. And we can't wait to announce the winners on the 17th of November during the GIS Day. So as I said, ensure you register. If you don't register, you'll be missing out on a lot of money. So for those who are gonna be doing it for fun, join in the fun and make sure you bring all your creativity into this context. So thank you again, and I wish you all a good day.
Nico, thank you, and thank you to the rest of the presenters.
Yeah.
Yes, like we had said,
Yeah.
We've had a very active bunch of trips trips during this launch. Very interesting insights. And so
KOT.
Yes, well, it can be KOT because we had engagement across the region. So there's
Perfect,
KOT, there's UOT. If I can just share my screen.
Go ahead.
In the interest of free and fair elections, we'd have a gift. I'm not sure what you guys are seeing. What are you seeing?
Yeah, we can see the dashboard.
Which one? The one for tweets? Keyhole, I hope.
Yes, Keyhole.
Yes. So we had a lot of engagement. You can see just from the MApchallenge hashtag, we had 242 posts, and 45 users actually took part in this. Guys. So a lot of people were busy on their phones. Great insights. We're able to harvest a lot of insights. You can see a lot of GIS trending, Geogeek, University. So far, so good. We haven't had a negative report. We want to keep it that way. So yeah, nice balance. 51% male, 49% female. From the map there, you can see 101 users from Kenya. We have Uganda 22, Tanzania there's somebody. So a lot of representation. I don't know the others if there's a blackout or internet blackout or something, but most of them on desktops. iPhone also represented, as well as Android users. So yeah, the moment you've all been waiting for, most frequent, this tech doesn't lie, we have Marvin Joe, who had 15 tweets. We have number 2 is Nabudere, and we had Lucy Kesha with 10.
Marvin, so are you still with us?
If Marvin, if you can raise your hand. Marvin, if Marvin can raise their hand, I see the hand raised.
Marvin, you can.
Marvin, you're still called John, eh? Let's just see the account. Yes.
Uganda. Marvin from Uganda.
I said. Let him say something, John.
Thank you, Marvin, for your Marvin.
Yes,
probably.
hello.
Great. Thank you, Marvin. You've been very active. Tell us, are you excited for the challenge?
Yeah,
I am. Which university are you from?
I'm from Cairo University. And in fact, that's my field. I'm a part of what I do. I do land surveying and geomatics, and we have that aspect of GIS into our course. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So
are you looking forward to tackling one of the SDGs? Have you thought about what you're going to be doing?
Yeah, I've thought about it, and I'm ready to register and plan for it. I am sure I'm going to be taking part of this.
I hope you're going for the win. Victor, what do you have for Marvin?
Well, for Marvin, because he's been very engaged, we have a thermal mug for him.
Nice.
Which I think we'll ship to our Uganda office. So for the guys in Uganda, we moved offices to a new location, which we'll also be sharing on social media. So when your gift arrives there, you can drop by the office, but you can drop a DM.
Thank you.
Yeah, probably take a photo to show guys that you got it. Let's see, number 2 with 13 tweets. Tweet by the name Nabudere G. If you're the attendees, you can probably raise your hand. We also have a big
I hope the
share
ladies are noticing that they need to also pull up their socks and get more engaged. The
yes,
country call the prizes.
Nabudere Godwill is here. Hi, Nabudere.
Hello, I go by the name Nabdele Godwill, a recent graduate from Chambogo University.
You can unmute, yeah.
Yeah, am I heard?
Yes, you're clear.
Yes, I go by the name Nabdele Godwill, a recent graduate from Chambogo University. I pursued the bachelor's degree of science in land surveying and information systems. I'm a land surveyor, and I'm currently interning with Esri, Ugandan branch.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Great job, Nabudere. You forgot to mention you also are a Manchester United fan.
Oh.
I see that. I hope
I'm
you
doing
also.
well.
I hope you also go for the win in this challenge as well, since your team is not going to win anything. Yeah, anyway, just.